Your computer is running something right now you didn't install. I know this sounds paranoid, but I'm being literal. If you use Chrome, and about 2 billion people do, there's a 4 gig file sitting on your hard drive. Chrome put it there. No pop-up, no warning, no we're doing this and here's why. Just suddenly downloaded it to your machine. And the part that actually made people angry, when you delete it, Chrome downloads it again. This isn't malware. This isn't some sketchy third-party thing. This is Google International, rolled out to hundreds of millions of devices all at the same time. One privacy researcher spent weeks documenting exactly how this happened and why European regulators are probably going to have serious problems with it. The file is called wait.bin. It's sitting in a folder called Opt Guide on Device Model. It's Gemini Nano, Google's on-device AI model. 4 gigabytes. And if you delete it, it comes back. That's not an accident. That's a choice. This is what happened. This is what it means. And this is what you can do about it. There's a guy named Alexander Hanf, privacy researcher, GDPR specialist, the kind of person who reads terms and conditions of service and actually understands them. Then writes incredibly detailed blog posts about every way those companies are breaking the law. He's been doing it for years. He's really good at it, which means when he says something is wrong, it actually is. A couple of weeks before this story came out, Hanf had been investigating Anthropic, the Claude AI people, for quietly installing automation hooks into 7 different browsers without telling anyone. He found it using forensic methods, basically reconstructing what the software did and what the company said it did. The more he looked at Anthropic's behaviour, the more he started thinking, okay, who else is doing this? So he decided to do the same audit on Chrome. He created a brand new Chrome profile. Nothing on it, no logins, no searches, nothing. He literally installed it, set up a profile, and then walked away. Didn't touch it. Then he watched what Chrome did without him. Specifically, he watched the file system logs, the kernel level record of every file operation the system makes. This matters because these logs exist below the application layer. Chrome can't see them, can't modify them, can't hide from them. They're the system's truth. April 24th, 2026, 4:47 PM Central European Time. Chrome created a directory called Opt Guide on Device Model. Then, 3 background processes started running 3 separate unpacker programs at the same time, quietly, extracting something. 14 minutes later, a 4 gig file called wait.bin was sitting there. And Hanf's involvement during all of this? 0. He was just watching. The browser did this entirely on its own. He ran the exact same test on Windows 11, macOS, and Ubuntu Linux. Same pattern every time. Different operating systems. Same file, same invisible process, same we didn't ask permission approach. The file is the neural network weights for Google Nano, Google's on-device AI. This is supposed to run AI inference on your actual hardware, not Google servers. This isn't a patch, this isn't a security update. This is a 4 gig artificial intelligence model. On Windows, it's hidden. Local app data, Google Chrome user data, Opt Guide on Device Model. On Mac, it's Library, Application Support, Google Chrome, Default, Opt Guide on Device Model. On Linux, it's Config, Google Chrome, Default, Opt Guide on Device Model. Same file everywhere. Same 4 gigabytes, same Gemini Nano model. Now the scale. Chrome has between 2 and 3.5 billion active users globally. Even if only 10% of those machines were eligible for this rollout, and early data suggests way more than that, that's 200 to 350 million devices. That's 0.8 to 1.4 exabytes of data pushed globally, without anyone asking. Alright, let's be fair to Google for a second before we get into the parts that are actually indefensible. The whole pitch for Google Gemini Nano is this. On-device AI means the model runs on your computer, not on Google servers. Your text stays on your machine. Google never sees it. That's actually a pretty solid argument. Most AI right now, everything goes to the cloud. This is different. Chrome uses Nano for a few specific things. Help me write. Right-click in any text box on the web and you get an option to draft something, rewrite it, fix the grammar. All of that runs on your computer. Your draft email about your medical history, your relationship drama, whatever, it stays on your device. Google never touches it. Scam detection, Chrome analyzes messages for phishing patterns and fraud. Runs locally. The content never leaves your device. Tab summaries, the AI can sum up what's on a page or suggest how to organize your tabs. Local processing, so the technology actually has real value. On-device inference genuinely is better for privacy than cloud-based processing for these cases. And here's where it gets weird. Chrome 147 added this new button to the address bar, right next to where you type URLs. There's now a pill that says AI mode. If you're an average person in 2026, you've heard about on-device AI. You know Chrome just secretly downloaded 4 gigabytes to your computer. You see this AI mode button sitting right there in the most prominent spot on the entire browser. You're going to assume one thing. That button uses the local model. My stuff stays on device. That assumption is completely, totally wrong. AI mode is cloud-based. It's search generative experience. The same AI-powered Google search that Google's been pushing. You type into that button, your words go over the internet to Google, get processed by big models in data centers somewhere, and the answer comes back. The Nano model, that's the one that's taken up 4 gigabytes, but you paid the bandwidth for, powers the stuff in the right-click menu, the hidden features, things the average Chrome user will never find, let alone use regularly. So you paid for the storage cost, paid for the bandwidth cost. You see AI mode in the most visible place in the browser, and AI mode sends everything to the cloud. Visible feature, cloud. Local feature you funded, nobody knows about it. That's not a design choice, that's misdirection. And this is where Hanf's actual expertise comes in. And this is where Google starts having a genuinely serious problem. There's this European law called e-privacy directive. It was written mostly to deal with cookies, but the language is broad enough to cover more. The core rule is Article 5, Section 3. You cannot store information on someone's device without their consent. Prior consent, freely given, specific, informed, unambiguous. There are exactly 2 exceptions. Storage that's strictly necessary to transmit a communication, or storage that's strictly necessary to provide a service the user explicitly asks for. Hanf's argument is straightforward. Chrome doesn't need wait.bin to function. Delete it and Chrome still works. Websites still load. Nothing breaks. The user didn't ask for an AI model, so the exceptions don't apply. It's a direct violation. And then you have GDPR. Article 5 says processing has to be lawful, fair, transparent. Article 25 says you have to build privacy protection into your system by default, not added later, but designed in from the beginning. Chrome's approach is the exact opposite. Silent install, invisible to users. No setting to disable it. Automatic re-download when deleted. This doesn't just fail data protection by design, it rejects the entire concept. In October 2024, the European Data Protection Board updated its guidance. They explicitly expanded Article 5, Section 3 to cover any storage or access on terminal equipment, not just cookies. Software installations are now finally in the legal scope. Google's defense is probably going to be automatic updates mean users consent to component updates. The problem with that argument is proportionality. You might reasonably expect a security patch in an update. You should not expect a 4 GB AI model with zero notification. If EU regulators go after this, and the longer Google doesn't roll this back, the more likely that happens. Google is looking at GDPR fines of up to 4% of global annual revenue. Their 2025 revenue was around 280 billion. 4% of all that is 11.2 billion. That's not a rounding error. That's a number that affects shareholder meetings. California's CCPA has similar consent requirements. Some EU countries have their own computer access laws that might apply separately. And here's what's interesting. Google hasn't said anything publicly. No response. No, we're looking into it. No explanation. Just silence. The regulatory attention is building, and every day Google doesn't roll this back, they're choosing to accept that risk. Here's what I didn't expect to care about. Carbon emissions. Privacy lawyers cared. Developers cared. But the climate maths started getting around, and suddenly people who deal with actual carbon accounting started paying attention too. Sending data across the internet uses electricity. Storing data on SSDs in modern laptops requires energy to manufacture, energy to power, energy to cool. Researchers use a rough estimate of 0.06 kilowatt hours of energy per gigabyte transferred across networks. 4 gigabytes times 0.6 kilowatt hours equals 0.24 kilowatt hours per device. Multiply that by 500 million devices, and that's even a conservative estimate. That's 120 million kilowatt hours of electricity consumed just in the initial download. For context, that's enough to power about 11,000 homes for an entire year. The CO2 equivalent depends where the electricity comes from. Some networks run on renewables, others run on coal. Hamp's calculation, averaging global energy mixes, puts the initial rollout somewhere between 6,000 and 60,000 tonnes of CO2 equivalent. Some analyses go higher, up to 640,000 tonnes, depending on how you calculate it. To actually visualise that, it's equivalent to taking 140,000 cars off the road a year. It's the annual carbon footprint of about 65,000 Americans. And that's just the initial download. The re-downloads add to it. The times people delete the file and Chrome puts it back. The model updates Google will invariably push. All of that adds to the total. Google makes very public commitments to carbon neutral operations and net zero emissions. They talk about it constantly, and then they rolled out a 4 GB AI model to hundreds of millions of machines without asking, generating carbon at the scale of a small nation. That's a pretty stark contradiction. Quick thing before we get into how to actually fix this. If you're not subscribed, hit the button. We cover this kind of stuff every week. The corporate overreach tech companies think they can get away with, the legal grey areas they exploit, the stuff that affects you but nobody's talking about. We don't just report news, we investigate it. We dig through the documents, we find researchers who uncover it, We explain what it actually means to you. If you want to actually know what companies are doing, not the PR spin, but specifically happening, subscribe. And drop a comment below if this Chrome situation pisses you off as much as it should. Real conversation happening down there. Back to the story. Alright, so if you want this off your machine, here's what you need to actually do. Bad news first. There's no simple toggle in Chrome settings. Google didn't make it easy. Good news, there are ways. They're just not advertised. On Windows, open a new tab, Chrome flags in the address bar. Search for on-device model background download. Switch it to disabled. Also search for optimization guide on-device model and disable that. Restart Chrome. Then find the folder. Windows hides it, but it's at local app data, Google, Chrome, user data, opt guide on device model. Right click it, properties, uncheck read only. Click apply. Then delete the folder. On Mac, same Chrome flags process, same flags, then open the folder, hit Command plus Shift plus G, paste library application support, Google Chrome default, opt guide on device model and hit enter. Drag it to the trash. Open terminal, type rm-rf ~library application support Google Chrome default opt guide on device model and let it run. Important catch. Chrome resets its flags when you update to a new major version. Chrome 148 is coming soon. After you update, go back and check those flags again. The file might reappear. If you want this to stop happening, you're probably going to have to switch browsers. Firefox doesn't do this. Safari doesn't. Brave doesn't. Chrome and Chrome alone. But 2 billion people use Chrome by default. I'm one of them. So that's not an easy switch for most people. This isn't really about one 4 GB file. There's a pattern happening. Over the last few years, tech companies have been treating user devices like deployment surfaces for their own stuff, instead of personal computers that belong to the user. 2 weeks before this Chrome story, Anthropic did something similar, quietly installed browser automation hooks into 7 different browsers without telling anyone. Different company, same pattern. Microsoft pushes AI into Windows in ways people find intrusive. Apple does the same with Siri and on-device AI. And they all use basically the same defense. It's just an automatic update. Users consent to updates. It's on-device AI, so it's private. Both defenses fall apart when you actually examine them. Consent to automatic updates doesn't mean consent to arbitrary software installations. That's not how consent works. If you agree to software updates, I'm not agreeing to a 4 GB AI model being suddenly installed. And on-device doesn't mean private if the visible features still send everything to Google servers. You just proved that. AI mode is cloud-based. So where's the privacy benefit? The real question underneath all of this is about ownership. Do you actually own your device, or does the company that made the software think they own it? Google just gave us their answer. So what happens now? This is the real question. What Google does next tells us what they actually believe. If they roll this back, if they add real opt-in, not opt-out, if they redesign AI mode to actually show where your data goes, that's a signal. That says the company heard people. That says privacy matters. If they don't, if this stays, if Chrome 148 makes it worse, if websites can start triggering these downloads remotely, then we know something different. We know Google's public talk about responsible AI and sustainability isn't backed up by their actions. At that point, the question becomes real. Is Chrome your browser, or is it theirs?